Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another live stream. I've just thought, did I reset the text labels after last week? And yes, I have.
Probably not.
No, I have.
Yeah, you did.
I have. We no longer have silly monikers. Good to see everybody. I hope we all had a good week of gaming and hobby since we were last together. Good to see you in the chat there, Darren, or stroke Demon Sub. Hope you're doing
early
okay.
Doors.
Yep, hope you're doing okay, mate. Sound off what you're hobbying on tonight, because I know that you're always a busy little beaver. You're normally cracking on with something. Good productivity. Here we go. Do you know what? Tim's making a habit of this, actually playing games.
Tim's not here because he's playing. What is this?
I don't know, but it's getting out of hand. We need him back in the seat and not fucking indulging himself, not enjoying himself, for Christ's sake.
Well, he's going to miss all of the technical difficulties.
To be fair, no, he won't, mate. He'll be able to catch up with it later as we fuck everything up from beginning to end. So, for everybody who's joining us for the first time, what we'll do is our usual format. So David and I will show you what we're working on currently with our current hobby project. Then we'll have a quick chat about what we got up to our hobby club this week on Monday night. And then we'll have a bit of waffle and maybe discuss some news and what's been happening on the old boob tubes for the last week. And then we're going to tackle our main topic, which is a bit of an informal one tonight. We're just going to have a chat around the sort of the philosophy of either experimentation or be playing it safe and being very conservative with your hobby, and touch upon things like games, actual painting, miniatures. Because to be fair, that this sort of like safe versus risky sort of mentality feeds into everything that we do in the hobby, and there's no one right answer, I don't think, but we'll get into that later. So then, mate, do you want me to go first with the old hobby?
Please, because I'm currently spraying.
Because I've kept David in the dark. Now, this Monday coming is our club painting competition, which is a regular monthly event. This month, the topic is... Hello, Dan. Darren's going to do Heresy Miniatures figures I got from a recent Kickstarter. Okay, mate. Are we still feeding into the 5 Leagues from the Borderlands project? I imagine we are, because you seem a fairly focused guy. So this month's category is Behemoth, and I had a couple of ideas. I've got an unpainted knight or two that I thought I could crack out. Good excuse to get some paint on them. I had the big, I don't know, War Boss on Maw Crusher, is it called?
Yes,
from Age of Sigmar. I've got one of them somewhere, partially assembled.
Can't find it for shit.
But yeah, as David says, I've pretty much turned the house upside fucking down since last week, and I can't find it. So I had to get resourceful, and what I'm actually going to paint is a Greek god. Now, for some reason, that's fine.
Battles Pantheon?
Yes, David's guessed it. So, back in the day, I backed the Mythic Battles Pantheon Kickstarter God Pledge. So, I got an absolute metric ton of miniatures. If you just Google Mythic Battles Pantheon, you'll see photographs on the internet where people's pledges are like taller than them. It was one of those insane Kickstarters back when, you know,
Kickstarters were Kickstarters.
Well, I think what's it's called? The people who did Zombicide, Cool Mini or Not, sort of started this trend, and it just got more and more ridiculous. And then Mythic Games just sort of like started saying, okay, we can be ridiculous. And they did these Kickstarters that were incredibly big. I haven't played anywhere near enough of the board game, but I've got so much unpainted stuff that I need to crack on with. And
Fucking
as
hell,
you
he's a
can
big
see from my ridiculous long shot, this miniature is so big. This is one of the Titans called Typhon. Yeah, the Conan was another insane one, wasn't it? It was almost like a meme how big that Kickstarter was. So this is what we're doing. I primed it with the airbrush. I got the base coats, the grey and the green were airbrushed, and then I brush painted in the other two colours, the brown and the sand. I'm not intending, even though this is a competition entry, we're not going the 9 yards on this. It's going to be washes, but a lot of dry brushing because this model is huge. And just get it done and get it out the door. So that's what I'm up to, mate. Now, what about you?
I am currently painting some Star Scrappers.
Right.
Because Mr. Indecisive over here has finally decided on a colour scheme.
Hang on a minute. That's not the brown you told me you were going to use, is it?
That is Scrupulous Brown.
Is it? Jesus Christ, that looks yellow.
It is a Vallejo game colour. There you go.
Right, okay. I see what you mean. Because when you said orangey brown, I was thinking more of a red leather stroke mahogany brown.
No,
but it's almost yellow.
Yes, it is almost yellow.
And as I say,
we've already started on the painting comp piece because
yes, and this is obviously that does look very good. I see you got that top on in the end with the over the rider's hood.
After much fighting.
Okay. Well, you got it there, mate.
But this is over a black white zenithal, and I'm actually really loving the definition on this colour without actually going too ridiculous with it.
Yeah.
So I'm possibly going to just come in with a bit of a zenithal from above, top down, just to catch the edges, and then give it a wash and call the yellow done.
To be fair, mate, if you've done it, I mean, it's difficult to sell. It's always difficult to tell on our cameras because we don't have the best gear in the world. But there is some shading, or looks like some shading visible on those side panels. Certainly.
But yeah, I'm currently in operation
painting phase.
Last time I saw that much yellow was in painting phase.
What were they doing on painting phase that was yellow?
Votan, wasn't it?
Here we go. He's back. He's showing us more. Votan. Did they do yellow Votan? I missed that.
Votan. But I love this colour, Vallejo game colour. It's fucking awesome.
It does look really nice, actually. Does it have any parallels in the model colour? I don't think it does it?
It doesn't. I don't think. I'll have to have a check on the...
it's sort of like halfway between deep yellow and golden brown.
Yeah, it's weird. But shall we get back to the topic at hand here, which is talking about what we did at Club on Monday?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Now, so David and I, yet again, have been sharing each other's homework. Because I know we're making a bit of a habit of this, but we actually played a game together again, which was fucking amazing. What we actually played was Carnivale. Now, I'm rubbish. I got completely absorbed in the game, and I didn't take any pictures. So
same. But it was my first game. So
shout out to Ricky from the gaming club, who was a complete legend. And whereas David and I are total idiots, he did remember to take some pictures. So we played Carnivale which, for those of you who don't know, is a miniature skirmish game from TT Combat that is set in Renaissance Venice with a post-apocalyptic theme. There's been like a
Magical
Cthulhu-style gate opened up, and it's made the world all magic and weird. So you've got vampires and magic powers and steampunk zombies, and then it's all stirred up into this sort of like
melting pot of ridiculousness.
Yeah. This is David's Doctor's Crew. The table we played on was actually TT Combat's MDF terrain. This is the stuff that belongs to the club, and it's sort of half painted. Probably doesn't look the greatest, but it's a work in progress. So and this is my warband. Sadly, not as fully painted as David's. I still need to do some dry brushing work on these harpy models, which are the henchmen at the front here. But the other three miniatures are basically fully painted. I just want to tart up the bases with some washes and a bit of dry brushing for colour. So we had my Strigoi with Dracula, a vampire priest, some weird Strige model. It's essentially a female vampire with wings, and then these two sort of like surf vampires called harpies. And this is a shot of some of the terrain. Again, David's crew, which is the Doctor's faction.
Yeah, starts up for the Doctors, contains 2 madmen,
Here's what I was
Doctor of Ordnance, a plague surgeon, and a warden.
So, the scenario was one of the ones from the mini rulebook out of the Escape from San Cantiano set. One of the things about Carnivale that I love is the unique feel of the scenarios. It's a bit like Infinity. The scenarios have quite specific flavour, and it's not like if you take a game like Age of Sigmar, like all of the scenarios from the battle pass or the battle pack. Basically, it's between 2 to 4 objectives arranged in some sort of geometric pattern, and then you have to control
or arriving
them
at random times.
Yeah, so with the Carnivale ones, things are a lot more unique. This one, there were 2 objectives, but they were they were mobile, so you could, if you ended a model's activation adjacent to one, you could literally pick it up and transfer it to that model and move it around the board. 5-turn game. You scored 3 points for controlling an objective on one of your models at the end of the game, and there was some secondary objectives, which I think are called agendas in the game.
Yeah.
The agendas, it works. You can either roll on a table, or if you buy their deck of cards, you deal yourself X number of agendas, and then there are different ways you can play them. And again, every scenario is different. So like some you'll have a hand of 5, some you'll have a hand of 3. Sometimes you can cycle them, sometimes you're stuck with them, sometimes you can score double points off them if you do certain things. There's loads of ways they vary the missions up to make them all a little bit unique.
Isn't there?
And it was a fantastic game. First time, I've played the game before, 2 or 3 times, but never with my Strigoi. This was new to me, and it was your first game after your demo, wasn't it, mate? You literally only had a UKG demo other than this.
Yes.
So it was basically his first game, and it was really tight. I thought I'd got it, frankly, but sort of turn 4, David, some sort of light bulb went on in your head, mate, and you suddenly worked out what was going on with the agenda cards.
Yeah,
and basically,
and the fact that they were fucking bollocks and hard to score.
And from like having nothing, it was literally like, and I score this agenda, and I score this agenda, and I was like, oh, fuck. So I ended up losing 6-5 in the end, which is respectable. But we tied for one main objective each, and it all came down to the secondaries. And David did a much better job of scoring them, frankly. Mine was a bit of a car crash.
Well, I mean, you did suicide.
Yeah.
Vlad off a building to try and score
through my leader off this balcony here into the water, just so that I could have one of your models survive a 6-inch fall. Of course, he didn't survive because I forgot to check how much health he'd got, and he died, and it was all a bit tragic. So yeah, that was that. But a very, very good game.
Fucking awesome game, though. Really cinematic, really flavourful. Amazing, really. And then the other thing that went on at Club was some Dungeon Bowl from Luke and Trevor, wasn't
Yep, Luke and Trevor played a game of Dungeon Bowl, which is a game I've not played. Their game was really tense. It had some great cinematic moments. I think Luke had the game stolen from him he did a block roll and he got double skull, which is like less than 3% I think chance for anybody who's not played that game. So it's like facepalm. And basically that dice roll costed the game because it's sudden death, I think, with Dungeon Bowl. First to score wins, which is a cool sort of like casual game format.
Yeah, I mean, again, if only, what's it called?
I don't know, mate.
You could adopt that rule in Blood Bowl, actually.
Does sevens work by sudden death? Does somebody know? Does anybody know?
Dan's here.
Yeah, do you know, Dan?
Dan will know.
Is Blood Bowl sevens sudden death? First to score? I got a feeling I read somewhere that it was. But I could be making that up and pulling it out of my arse. So don't take it as gospel.
Sevens is less turns.
Yeah, it's less miniatures, isn't it? Is it 7-a-side? That's where the name comes from?
Probably.
And it's like designed as the lunchtime game version of Blood Bowl, isn't it? Where games are over quick. So I think it is sudden death. So yeah, bloody can't wait. When we got our next game booked in, mate? May. Yeah. So
just before we go to UKGE.
The other thing that I do like about the Carnivale is the missions have different points levels. So the mission we played was recommended for a 2x2 board and 75 Ducat crew. Ducats being the points total you build to, effectively. And it's good because, like, if you've got a collection of models, if you roll your mission randomly, you don't know what your list is going in. What are you building to 100, 150, 75? And I really love that it stops you getting into a rut and running the same list over and over again.
Yeah, having just a consistent list as well, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you could do your prep work, and when you know your faction, you'll be like, oh, I'm doing 100, I'm taking this. Or you could even have a situation where it's like, it's that scenario, I'm going to take these guys. Do you know what I mean? And actually tailor your lists to the scenario, which if you're super good at the game, I imagine you could do without too much difficulty.
Probably. P-A-R-T-Y. Pirate.
I must confess, did you see Darren's comment about painting phase? That
no.
They did a whole video on different ways to quickly paint yellows.
Well, I'll tell you what is a really quick way. Buy yourself some Scrupulous Brown and do a zenithal.
So what are you doing? Are you going to do a zenithal with that pro acryl?
I don't know whether I want to go that fucking intense. That's
poppy.
The problem.
Yeah, no, I get it.
This Scrupulous Brown is a nice, like, rich, goldeny, orangey, yellow brown.
Honestly, Darren, the miniatures, the resins are not the best always from TT
Your
Combat. Some of my models that in my box were pretty scruffy and needed a lot of work to clean them up and get them good. And even now I still spot defects. I was painting one of my other flying vampire models and I spotted a seam that was running up the back of his thigh from where the mould was slipped. They are beautiful when you put the work in, and there is every flavour of madness in the game. Like I say, you've got vampires, you've got fucking mad plague doctors in masks, you've got just scruffy looking dock hands with crossbows, you've got everything. If you can think of an archetype, you've got knights in armour with like tabards, like Venetian
papal.
Yeah, they sort of work for the Catholic Church and the Pope. You've got everything. You think of an archetype, it's in there, pretty much. It's a huge range. In terms of the game, it's a fantastic cinematic game. I wouldn't recommend it as anyone's first game because there's a lot going on. The way that you do dice tests is quite convoluted. So you're always rolling a pool of D10s, but the target number changes. Sometimes it's a 7, sometimes it's a target number.
Sometimes it's a skill printed on your card, so it could be 4 or 6 or 5, whatever it happens to be.
Or sometimes it's a target number set by your opponent's model.
Or it's your opponent rolls their stat for the respective test, and then that removes from your dice pool for the same stat attack.
So there are some layers to it. But if you're an experienced wargamer, none of it's insurmountable. The other thing is the layout of the rulebook's a little bit sketch. I mean, David and I fumbled our way through it, but like David was on about what I call opposed tests. I've never played them right before the other night. So it was a bit of a revelation. Oh shit! This is how they're supposed to work.
Well, to be fair, we had 2 rounds of it being played wrong.
Yeah.
And then suddenly realised.
Oh, this makes sense. So let's give it an honest review, eh, mate? It's
awesome.
It is a good game.
Your mileage may vary.
What would you say, mate? I would say 8 out of 10.
Probably something along those lines.
I mean, yeah, I think that's fair. As I say, the main issues, I think, are the fact that the rulebook is pretty unintuitive, which just makes something that's quite complex just hard for no good reason. Yeah, you are right, Darren. It's very... To be fair, I don't imagine there's anybody's ever gone to the table for their first iteration of a game or a rule set and got everything perfect. It's just the nature of the beast, isn't it? But yeah, I reckon 8 out of 10's a fair score. So, should we do some news?
Yeah, why not?
So, talking about the painting phase, they were one of the things that I wanted to highlight. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but the painting phase are fast becoming one of my favourite channels for content.
To be fair, I've not watched a lot of their content, but I'm a very specific creature.
Sure,
when it comes to my YouTube content.
I can be as well. So by far and away, my favourite content is they do these sort of just over an hour and a bit chats. They've started bringing guests in. They used to do it with just the three of them, Jeff, Peachy, and can't remember the other guy's name. The guy with the ginger beard who's the videographer. Michael? I can't remember. Anyway, but they've started bringing guests in regularly. So it was this guy, the Honest Wargamer, Dave I think is his real human name. But he's another YouTuber, does competitive AOS and 40k content. Yeah. For me, this is their best content. But I'm not somebody who watches painting videos. I find them overblown.
More on that later.
Yeah, I find them a bit overblown, and I'm not really in for that sort of thing. But I tell you what, their painting content, it just gets on with it. Peachy's got a really irreverent, self-deprecating style. He doesn't care about knocking the corners off. He just cracks on with it. And do you know what? Even that stuff's watchable. If you're doing something in the back, doing something and you've got YouTube on in the background, it's just perfectly inoffensive and it's great. So yeah, definitely. The more I see of Peachy's work, the more I think this guy's in my wheelhouse. In fact, we might talk about that because I've had a bit of a revelation actually about why I'm doing this sort of thing. But we'll come to that. David, now you shouted this one out, mate, didn't you? So this is Dave from MS Paints.
Yeah, so Dave from MS Paints did some dicking around with some oils on a Kickstarter thing that he's been sent over that's 3D printing. As usual from Dave, really fucking down-to-earth content, really awesome content. More experimental, because Dave in this video was dicking around with some oils and comparing them to like the applications and stuff that you get with contrasts.
Yeah,
and he does make some really good valid points, like obviously you can mess around, dick around with washes and glazes and that kind of thing, but because they're oils, you can constantly reactivate them and move them if required, or you don't like the results, which you don't get with speed paints or contrasts.
I think as well, Dave's done videos where he's used oil washes before. And he's used them on his Gundams and other things.
Yeah.
But this was very much he wanted to explore oil paint. And not just using it as a wash, but actually using it as a paint and blending it.
And Dave is not infallible himself. Even Dave has issues. And reprimed those miniatures about 5-6 times, he was saying in the video.
To be fair to Dave always plays... Because again, we will probably come back to this when we talk in our main topic. But Dave is not... He wouldn't describe himself as an expert painter by any stretch. He's somebody who enjoys painting, and he loves experimenting and going outside of his comfort zone and just creating things with an artistic agenda and an artistic sense. But I mean, the other thing that I will say about Dave's videos is like there's a great skit at the beginning of this where he's sort of like straining and staring at this miniature and he's got the puppets talking to him.
He's doing what I was doing the other day when it came to painting these Star Scrappers fucking minis.
He fucking was. But his just the way he scripts stuff, the way he films his videos, it's really top drawer stuff. I mean, it's Jesus Christ.
He does deserve a watch. If it's not for this, it's for other stuff. I mean, again, the other week, if you love your terrain, go look at him building the Cthulhu table for what is it?
Oh,
Mythos and Malifaux.
Yeah, I think Malifaux he was sort of like pegged it as, but it was the Dunsmouth terrain from TT Combat, wasn't it, mate?
No, not TT.
Wayland. War Cradle.
Fuck's sake. Every time.
Every time I get that wrong. Yeah, War Cradle. I'm going to shout out this video. So, as part of his new year, Scott, the Miniac, did a video about he was going to try and be less GW-centric. And this is the opposite of what he said he was going to do. Essentially, he's made another Games Workshop video. But at least this one's negative. He basically says, Age of Sigmar is not a game I like. And it's got all of these problems, and I don't enjoy it. And it's a great video because he's perfectly even-handed. He's honest about what he thinks, and he says a lot of it's my opinion. But he streams Age of Sigmar, and he says because it's easy to get games of it, and he's in a group of friends who are doing like an escalation league, but actually it's just not the best game. And I just really enjoyed watching this video. I'll watch any content where Games Workshop get a kick in, but this is a good video because it does tell you exactly what's wrong with Age of Sigmar, and it sets it out quite clearly that there are some massive design flaws in it, and it's a shame because
they had a bloody good system, or they could have had a bloody good system.
And the miniatures are beautiful. A lot of the Age of Sigmar miniatures are fucking amazing. The actual dynamic sculpts and the design vision that's gone into a lot of them is just amazing. But it's just a fucking shame the game's so shit. And I think that's it pretty much.
There's one more.
Oh no, there is this one. Yes. So David shared this with
David was doom scrolling on Instagram.
And we do know that David loves a bit of a 3D print-a-thon. So this is Warp Miniatures, is it, mate?
Yeah.
Okay. There are better... If you search out Warp Miniatures on Instagram, sharing stuff from Instagram is really hard through a web browser. But if you want to look yourselves, Warp Miniatures, WARP, on Instagram.
And it was posted yesterday.
Yeah. They're also on My Mini Factory, if you want to go and look at them there. But this is a 3D printed multi-part set,
Fishman Army,
isn't it?
Yeah. Part 1. So part 2 will be coming at some point.
Cool. I mean, the models are amazingly characterful. It's like you say, you couldn't think of anything to do with them. That's the problem.
Yeah. Like the anglerfish with a massive fucking swordfish's snout as a blade.
Yeah, I can see
Guys
that
with
here.
nets, fucking barnacle encrusted shields. Amazing, lovely miniatures. What other than playing them as Kings of War,
RPG?
Trident Realms?
I mean, you could use them as a role-playing game
RPG
accessory.
Or Kings of War. What's it called? Trident Realm. They're about the only two things that I can think of at first glance that you could use them for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I can't think of a war game to drop them into. As I say.
Or bad guys in Ghost Archipelago, maybe.
Yeah. I think I think like a miniatures agnostic game, there might be a role for them in 5 leagues from the borderland. Darren might have an idea what you could shout these out for or use them as. Yeah, I mean, totally get that, Darren. If I was you, I would stick with your having no interest in AOS.
Well, the only reason I got into AOS was because I was too late for the boat of 8th edition fantasy.
Not only that, you never know.
Playing some AOS, and it was my first fantasy army.
You never know, mate. AOS might be good again one day. They might remove all the fucking bloat and streamline the game mechanics.
I prefer it to what's it called?
40k.
Because it is far less bloatsome than 40k. Yes, the cards that you actually have for each miniature are ridiculous. I mean, particularly your Zinch being fucking half an A4 page. Because that list you did at, what was it, 1,000 points was 6 sides of A4 versus my 3?
It was, yeah. No, well, it was more than that. It was more like 9.
No, but that's the point.
I had 4 pages of just army rules without data sheets. But, yeah, I mean, the thing is, to say it's better than 40k, it's a bit like saying drinking meths is better than drinking hydrochloric acid. You know,
depends on your outlook on life.
Drinking meths,
both are bad.
Drinking meths causes less pain in the immediacy, but it's just as toxic ultimately.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So yeah, without being hyperbolic, I think it's all relative. So yeah, that's pretty much the news. I can't think of anything else. Unless you can, mate.
Let me go for a quick dive onto my favorite people on the Insta.
Because you're much more of a social media troll than I am.
We'll have to do something when I'm on vape break.
That's true.
New minis coming for TT Combat. So there's a new nice Templar Marshal coming.
That was Templar. What's that for? Carnivale?
Yeah. They've restocked UCM Behemoths. New fantasy miniatures are coming out soon.
Do you know, I did think, I wonder if David W. will bring his Behemoth for this painting competition.
No, he's already used it. You already did it last year.
Oh, that's a good idea. Alternative.
Oh, no, I have some news. I have some news.
Go on, then.
I'm finally getting Warcry!
Oh, God, yeah.
It shipped today. Fucking, 2 weeks after it should have shipped to Goblin? GW finally delivered to them today. Fucking robbing bastards.
In other news,
GW.
The name... I put my name down to be emailed when Soul Shackle's available. I have had no emails. Shock horror.
But yeah, GW. Sort your logistics house. If you move into a new warehouse, make sure the new warehouse has stock and is able to ship. Not holding everything up for 2.5 weeks. Yet is able to ship directly to customers perfectly fine. Me smells a rat.
Suspicious.
Now, question.
Yeah.
Before I go and zenithal these, is it worth me putting spot highlight on with some white zenithals for then this golden yellow to go over? What do we reckon, boys and girls? What do we reckon?
I think that might be a bit too much, mate. I mean, that yellow's pretty intense anyway. Why would you want to put white under it?
Well, before I put a highlight colour on.
Yeah, no. If it needed the help, I get it. But you've said yourself that Pro Acryl
I'm not going pro acryl. I'm going golden yellow from Vallejo.
Oh, okay. I take that back. Well, you might want to then, mate, to give the yellow a hand.
The yellow is a bit ridiculous.
Yeah. Yellow sometimes does need a hand to get a bit of a lift. So your highlights might need that under spray of white.
Even if it's just a light dusting. Let's go for a light dusting, shall we? Why are you so wet, Glove?
To be fair, everybody at home, you'll be. It's a relief that he's actually getting some fucking paint on these models, because oh my god, the drama of picking the fucking color palette. Oh my god.
I mean, I still haven't really picked the colour palette. I've just gone, fuck it.
I need to paint. I need to put some paint on. So I'll pick a yellow.
Picks a yellow brown instead.
If anybody wants to sound off in chat, what's the name of the faction, mate?
Terrons from Starscrappers Battle Drill.
Starscrappers. So Google Terrons Starscrappers Battle Drill. Basically, think sci-fi cowboys with. They're sort of like an improvised armoured look, aren't they, mate?
Yeah.
So,
like you say, they're sci-fi cowboys, but they also have access to a shit ton of mining equipment. So,
what about Assassin's Creed?
Fuck off!
So, what's that? Alternative Armies, is that an online retailer, Darren? They've got some sort of offer. Giving free mech miniatures away, are they?
Oh, what's that? Free mechs?
Yeah. Unless they're an STL company. Alternative Armies could be.
Sci-fi cowboys may be the coolest. Yes, Dan, I've got to print a second faction for these, and then once that's printed, we're going to get you hooked on this game. We're going to get Paul hooked on this game. And because I've already got Ricky hooked, we're good.
I must confess, I do like the sound of it. It does sound like it's got an interesting dynamic. And
it's what is it? Creative Commons is licensed, the ADR license, so it's generic playstyle, but my god, the minis are gorgeous.
Yeah, they do look very good when you've printed what you've printed, mate. Very good.
Well, again, you like the look of the hydras, which are
mate.
The Martian fish people.
Yeah, so go to the website, check the models, and tell him what fucking colours to paint them, because I am sick of being asked. If everybody could do that for me and save my bastard sanity, I would be grateful. Eternally and forever.
I don't know why you have such a problem with it. It's not a problem. It's
To be fair, I didn't. The first time we had the conversation, I didn't have a problem. The second time we had the conversation, and I repeated myself and I thought, oh, he's hesitant. Bless him. He doesn't know what to do. And then the third time, I was like, fuck off. You're trolling me now.
It's like layered food all over again.
No! What was I going to say? You've thrown me now with your layered food.
It's funny.
Oh yeah, what are you doing on the 20th of March?
At yours?
It's a club night, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's still at your house. Like some sort of creepo weirdest stalker. Why? Why'd you ask?
Because my X-Wing game has cancelled.
Oh no. Armada?
Well, is that what you're doing?
No, I'm saying March.
Well, you'll
The 20th of March. The 20th of March.
Yeah.
I'm playing some Star Scrappers with Ricky.
Okay, that's
so
fine.
what I could do instead is teach you how to play some Star Scrappers with Ricky.
No, that's fine.
Doesn't bother me.
No, it's fine. Because to be fair, my plan was to ask you, then ask Ricky. But now I don't need to, because now I know that Ricky's busy with you. So I shall cast the net and find something.
Dan, what are you doing on the 20th?
Yeah, what are you doing on the 20th, Dan? No answer yet.
Well, don't forget there's a fucking time delay and the man's got to type, you impatient old fuckwit.
Charming.
It's fucking true, though.
So, I'll tell
Being
you...
back at club, hopefully. So, it sounds like Dan's asking for a game.
Oh, well, let's sort something out, Dan. Blood Bowl. How about that? We did Infinity last time. Let's do the other option.
Oh, Dan's got Dungeon Bowl, hasn't he?
I don't know. Has he?
Put me out of my misery, Dan.
I'd give that a go. I'd buy that for $1, as they say. I tell you, he does have
it.
Well, should we do DB then? Should we put that in the diary? Or we could do standard Blood Bowl.
Sorted.
Don't mind.
Sold to the highest bidder.
Deal. Right. Okay. So that's it. Dungeon Bowl, 20th. Cha-ching. Done.
That's annoying.
What is, mate?
Just gone with gold and yellow. You can barely see it. Because my white has obliterated it. So we're going to fix that.
What do you mean the white's obliterated it?
Just don't. Go away. Leave me alone.
Oh. We've been a little bit aggressive with the old airbrushing.
We have. So we're going to fix it by adding golden scrupulous brown back in. Because I've lost the richness of my colour. So we're going to just thinly apply it over the white to bring it back. And then we're just going to say, fuck it. It's done.
I am trying to think. I watched...
Why have you fucking pissed all the way out the bottom, you little bastard?
What are you talking to? Your airbrush?
Go. Yes, I'm talking to an inanimate object, Paul.
I was watching... Now then. You maybe saw it. There was a YouTuber recently who was on about their motivation for doing the hobby, and essentially it was like not doing everything on hard mode, doing the hobby the way they wanted to do the hobby. Who the hell was that?
Not a clue.
God,
but I've fixed it with application of scrupulous brown, so we're good.
So you've rescued it again?
Yeah.
Are you still going to go with a highlight?
No, we're not.
We're leaving it.
We're
leaving well alone. To be fair, the more you paint your pawn, the more you're going to mask your zenithal. You're just going to chase your tail with it, aren't you?
Yeah, well, again, putting that white on her has pulled it up a bit, so it's not the end of the world, you know what I mean? Just want to add the depth back in, because this is a gorgeous colour, and I think by highlighting it and going into the golden spectrum, I was losing elements of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
So we're gonna...
So basically, let's put this up.
I've got the fucking motorbikes to do as well, yeah.
Just going to set up my camera.
Which camera's this? Your desk cam?
My. Let's just get this. Now we've got a miniature that's a sensible size. Let's see if we can.
What versus ridiculous?
Yeah, versus preposterously large. So this miniature is one of my Strigoi models that is sort of at 80% finished. And in a fit of I don't know, guilt, I guess, I decided to actually paint this model in like on hard mode, super hard mode. So I put loads of layers. I started from red and went through like a purple grey to give loads of shadows and definition to the skin. Then I glazed it with like sort of like off sort of grey beiges, and then used inks and washes to further enhance it. Then I put final dry brushing on it. And you know what? I am happy with the result. But Jesus Christ, the amount of time that this took was absolutely soul crushing for me. And it's when I moved on from this model and went to do my other Strigoi, I just dialed it right back. I took a leaf out of our David's book, checked out a couple of good tutorials online for vampiric skin tones, and I just sort of went with it. I did base colour, washes, simple highlights, dry brushing, bang, done. And you know what? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed getting the stuff out the door quickly. I got a great deal of satisfaction out of getting 4 models done in like 6 hours, whereas that was like 10 hours to get to that point. And it's made me realise that I'm not going to let myself feel bad about being a speed painter and somebody who just paints to get shit done. It's like this painting competition model. I did think about, was I going to just zenithal it and speed paint it? But actually I think it's big enough that even just putting base colours, washes and easy dry brushes is no more work and is going to work just as well. So that's what I've gone with.
I mean, this kind of brings us on to tonight's topic, really, doesn't it? With experimentation, because
I suppose it does.
And how we paint,
that's a pretty good segue.
Different. Do you know what I mean? I will trawl the internet for hours, find tutorials, find tips and tricks, lift colour schemes from one place and place them somewhere else. You are a creature of habit.
Yeah. I guess David's right. This is a pretty good way to get into our main topic.
This is a good segue. We'll segue while we can because it is 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it's all near enough. And also, to be fair, the other reason this is good is I've had this realisation that I am a creature of habit. David's right. I like tried and tested techniques that I know will work and that will get me playable game pieces in a short amount of time and work. and that's all I want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh shit!
There was an element of
Fuck.
it was
BRB!
okay. What, have you had a spillage? Yeah. There is an element of
View exhibit 1 camera, white fucking ink everywhere.
oh, you clown! How have you managed to?
I just picked it up, it stuck to the paper, I hadn't put the lid on properly, and it fucking tipped.
Oh shit! So, yeah, what we're talking about? Yeah. So I like to stick to what I know and get work done quickly, get playable models out the, ready for the tabletop with a minimum amount of effort. It's a bit like Dave's video earlier about messing around with oil paints, and he says, he got very quick results, 40 minutes to get what he wanted. But again, it's that experimentation. Dave says in his video, one thing he's learned from doing the experiment is that working with oils is a completely different skill set to working with acrylics, and he realizes how little he knows and how much he's got to learn. So just me hearing that, immediately I'm like, this is not for me. Because I want to, my focus is on other things. Yeah, very much so. Which is why I don't think I would ever truly enter a competitive painting competition. Do you know what I mean?
Unless it was time-based.
Yeah, but even then, I wouldn't be competing. Do you know what I mean? I suppose entering a speed painting competition is just sort of like, by default, I would have an edge, because that's what I do all the time. It's my bread and butter. So I'm not going to get bogged down in a cul-de-sac.
And take days to dry, but we all live in centrally heated homes or southern Texas, in Crispin's case. So it dries fairly quickly.
Yeah, I'm sure at Crispin's fucking place it dries in seconds. But you quite like different things, don't you, mate? It's like products.
Like a bit of experimentation. I like, again, internet research brought me to Dirty Down.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing stuff. Absolutely amazing stuff. It's expensive, but worth it. So worth it.
But you love the actual act of experimenting with that sort of stuff, don't you?
Yeah, dicking around, messing around. Again, tattoos on my painting comp the other month. I went and watched about 3 different videos to find out the tattoos, because I'm like, I want to put tattoos on this guy.
Yeah, and you want to do as good a job as you can.
So I went and looked for it.
Yeah.
Again, terrain outcomes and messing around with stuff. And I mean, you've only got to look at my fucking Armada bases, lifting a couple of tips from this place over here, that place over there, and I've ended up with some absolutely gorgeous Armada bases for both club stuff and mine, with clear silicone and putting it on, and then once it's cured, stippling on some white ink rather than a dry brush itself.
You see, again, if those, apart from the fact that those miniatures are in the ocean, so I'm sort of like shackled and bound to trying something different, I wouldn't experiment with water effects for any other reason. That it would have to be something I'm pushed into by the project I'm doing.
Regarding how fragile it is water soluble. So if you would really attack it with a brush and you really thin your varnishes down, you could have massive fucking issues. If you're applying an airbrush varnish, not a problem. Same as if it's not thinned varnish, you'll probably be all right. It's come out all right on my Necromunda minis.
You haven't had any reactivation or
No,
problems?
I've had no reactivation issues.
And you varnished them, didn't you?
Yeah, but I airbrush varnish,
don't
don't
Okay.
I? With
Oh,
satin
is
and
that because you
ultra
use brush
Yeah.
on varnishes, Darren?
I would assume so, hence him asking the question.
He's
The other
saying,
thing
see,
is,
Darren's
Darren,
saying he experiments a lot.
It doesn't necessarily need sealing. It could go on as a last step. If you find your brush is destroying it, just leave it till the last step to do it, because it is actually quite controllable. So
do you like experimenting with what, different paints, different techniques, or is it just color schemes? What, when you say experimenting, Darren, what sort of thing do you like to do? I guess for me that's an experimentation that I'm okay with. Colors. Do you know what I mean?
was that fogging accident perchance down to an aerosol varnish rather than an airbrush varnish, Darren?
I would have thought so.
No, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, just come down to my desk cam for the boys and girls at home.
Oh, you sure you want to? Is this going to be a complete fucking car crash?
No, it's not a complete car crash.
Actually, it looks like you've got a bit excited there, mate.
Yeah, white ink. I now have a very empty bottle. I have to order some more. But rescued. And fuck me, is it intense.
So, what's going with your yellow?
I don't know. I think first off, I need to start cutting my teeth on the painting comp minis to start getting these metallics in.
Yes, that's what I said to you. You've got such hesitancy now. You've got such hesitancy about your final colour scheme. I would just focus on that one model and get it right, and then that'll just guide you on the rest, surely, won't it?
Hopefully, maybe. We'll see. Okay. They're all over the shop. We've got men with pickaxes. We've got girls with sniper rifles. We've got angry fisticuff Iron Man guy.
So
and then guy off with a fuck off gun and a riot shield.
The thing with the sort of like
again, we talk about experimentation. I've got another example here if my camera's still live.
Yeah. Is this a hobby experimentation?
This is hobby. So I painted this several years ago. It's not the best quality.
Yes.
However, on the base and stuff here at the front, I mixed some Oohoo glue and some gloss varnish and some red paint, and we ended up with like blood splatter. And this is a technique that I taught Ricky about, and oh my god, did Ricky do it justice on his painting competition last month with the Venom. Fucking hell. But experimenting, dicking around, buying some alternative materials that you wouldn't necessarily consider for your hobby and put them to use.
Was that
one
of your internet tutorials, or was that completely homebrewed?
No, it's internet tutorial.
That's fine.
Oohoo contact cement.
Because again,
hobby stops.
Because again, to be fair, there are different layers to the whole experimentation thing, aren't there? I mean,
yeah.
You said to me when we said about this topic that does it really count, because basically I'm just stealing other people's ideas, but it's still a new experience for you. You're experimenting personally with new techniques and new products, and okay, it's not, you're not the progenitor of the idea, but you're still experimenting.
Right, I'm done with my camera, mate, by the way.
Okay, mate. Let's go back to the main view. So, I mean, it's definitely a thing. And as I say, it's like, I've been on Vallejo model colour for so long now.
Well, again, we both want to try Express, but We got to find some first.
Well, not only that. I be honest, mate. I probably won't necessarily try Express because I like speed paint. If you get them, I'll have a go with them with you and explore them.
Well, you're having a go with Contrast next week.
But you know, Army Painter works for me, and having done it, I don't really. Again, there's this. I'm so conservative. It's like, well, that works. Why would I want to start buying a load of other random shit? I mean, sometimes this works to my detriment. I mean, I refer everybody to last week's rant about Vallejo model colour metallics, and finally admitting bloody defeat and getting myself some decent metallic paints because those things are fucking useless and don't cover. You know, and so in a way, the conservative approach can often be a hindrance because it stops me moving on from things that I should abandon, you know, a good time ago and look for better alternatives. This can also apply to games, though, can't it? Just as well as painting.
Oh my god, Underworlds. Underworlds is a prime example because you were like, "This is hot garbage. I'm about to get rid of it."
Yeah.
And then we played some. And
well, yeah, we decided to stick with it rather than jump ship. But you know, that's an example of that working that way round. But I think both you and I have pretty much.
We both said about experimenting with the rules and scenarios, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, and that's a difference in me. Here I am saying, oh, I know what paint I like, and I like what I know. So I don't like doing, you know, I don't do wet blending, I don't do oils, I don't do this, I don't do that. I just do mid-tone, wash, highlight, done. But I'm not like that with my games at all, am I?
No.
You know, with my games, it's the opposite. It's as different as it could be. Like, if somebody gives me even... if somebody gives me a chance to try a new game, I'm all over it. Yeah, Darren saying he uses partially dried Army Painter ink wash as congealed blood. But yeah, Crispin saying Vallejo's good. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Yeah. Yeah. But as I say, I couldn't have a more different attitude towards my gaming. I'll happily try new stuff.
You'll try anything once, twice, 3 times, 4 times to make sure you're fully fucking on board with it. You know what I mean?
And if anybody suggests like even novel play modes or chances are, as long as I enjoy the game, I'll try it. You know, I'll give anything a whirl. So I am really adventurous with my gaming. I suppose it's because for me, and here's an insight, maybe this feeds into the conversation. For me, the end result or the destination goal is the game.
Yeah, you're a gamer, not a hobbyist.
Man, am I a gamer. So maybe that's why I've got the attitude that when it comes to the gaming, all bets are off. But all of the steps that lead up to it, all of the enabling steps, I'm just like, I'll stick to what I know. I'll stay in my lane. Maybe that's what's underpinning it all.
Yeah, the fact that you don't want to experiment and spend 4 hours fucking around when you know you could get them done in an hour and a half kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's exactly. I don't want to leap into that unknown when I know that if I do that, I can just get these done in a couple of evenings and move on.
Jesus.
Because again, it's like...
Well, again, for me, experimentation is a massive thing because I like, to be brutally honest, dicking around. I have a really short attention span at the best of times, let alone if I'm trying. I mean, I don't own really a fully finished army, but we'll gloss over that subject matter.
Right.
That tells you the kind of level of attention span that I have here.
Okay.
Because I'm doing something and I'm like, I'm bored of this. And then I'll go and pick up another project or another brush and start working on it and just flit and hobby mayfly between everything I've got going on.
Sure.
Hence why everybody, when they keep nagging me about Assassin's Creed, it's like, yeah, and I'll get around to it one day and then it'll be briefly and then on to the next thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Actually, and you make a great point here because...
That's who I am as a person.
I was going to say, that's the influence of your underlying personality on your whole hobby ethic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because by contrast, I am pretty good at just fucking knuckling down and getting shit done. Do you know what I mean? I suppose because I do already have that view that painting and preparing hobby materials, it is sort of work for me. But it's just an enabling step.
It's an enabling act for you to get to what you actually want to do, which is the...
And again, in my youth,
itself.
I did my fair share of painting with the grey unpainted plastic, playing with the grey unpainted plastic, and it's just that I've reached that time in my life where I'm making myself accountable and saying no more. If it's going on the table, the fucker's going to have some paint on it.
Even if it's not finished.
See, Dan's saying having unbuilt and unpainted stuff stresses him out. He likes to get something finished. Army games are a lot of work. They are, Dan. They are. No, yeah.
I mean, again, I think that's why both me and you have gone on to fucking skirmishes.
Yeah. I mean...
There's less commitment. The other thing with skirmishes as well, it allows you to experiment more. Things that you wouldn't have usually experimented with, you'll go, it's only 8 miniatures, I'll do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I'll be honest, that is a huge thing for me. Again, because I do like to experiment with the games. It's like you say, for the same money and time investment, I can build 2 factions, 3 factions. You know, I can try all sorts of game styles and play modes. Whereas if I'm committing to a massive collection of fucking Tyranids or whatever, the amount of money and time that's going to go into that is going to stifle a lot of other variation in my hobby. And that's why I'm out.
Dan's looking forward to some Necromunda.
Good. Funnily enough, you know, we've often said, if everybody saw it, Discourse Miniatures was again on Modelling for Advantages live stream, I think last week. They've had a Discourse on, I think, twice before. And Discourse said something that we've constantly, well, David particularly has said many times on the stream here, which is they were talking about whether Epic might come back. They were sort of like just fucking spitballing.
Yeah.
And Discourse said, well, let's just say, if it does, let's hope it's not popular, because then it'll probably be fine. Because Games Workshop, the games that they ignore at the fringes tend to be the better games. And you've said that, haven't you?
Right.
You know, the smaller boxed games, the little side projects.
Their box products are some of the fucking best product out there.
I mean, she said
quality.
She said Blood Bowl was her example, and she's dead right. Blood Bowl's still a great game. Even with the small amount of attention it's had, they've not managed to fuck it royally.
Yes.
It's still as fun a game. I mean, it's always had balance issues. Let's not be rose tinted about this. It's not a perfect game, but it's certainly no worse for the recent attention it's had. Is it?
No.
And it's had some gorgeous new models.
I mean, new Norse team, new Amazon team.
And I personally think that the small changes that they made in the current second season with the changing of the passing rules separating
Mechanic.
agility and passing skill, that small game design decision I think was very good. And it's had some really positive effects on the game.
Well, again, it's completely changed how Skaven's going to play. Because I've not actually played with them yet.
Hello, Limburger. He's back. Yeah, I enjoy modelling for Advantage. Johnny B and the Kaiser. What the hell's... It's something Kaiser, isn't it? But they're great personalities. And they're a little bit different because they're very historical. He's still alive. So, yeah. Conservative versus experimental.
Oh, I've got yellow trousers. Wonderful. Overspray. I mean, again, even though I'm an experiment, I am a creature of habit. If I've got a recipe for leather, I'll use it. Do you know what I mean?
Restless
I'll mess
Kaiser.
around and dig around with some different highlights, using skin tones to make it seem more worn and chipped and frayed. But once I've nailed that recipe of, for example, leather brown, skin tone, dark flesh or something like that, bit of a wash, done. That's it. That's my go-to worn leather.
Yeah, because
like
you're very like
brown...
that with skin tones as well. When you hit a recipe that gives you a look you like, it's like that's locked in then, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, I liked my dark sand with Reikland Flesh Shade wash for ages. Then I found about cork brown and brown rose.
Okay, and it usurped it, or did you keep? Or do you keep them both?
It's depending on what I'm going for. I'll use both, but it's definitely up there. It's a really good combo. Okay. That's the skin tone on that Warden.
Okay.
That you love.
Yeah. And it was the one that you refined on your halflings, was it?
No, completely different to my halflings.
Completely different.
I just dicked around with some colours.
So that was a self-created one, was it?
Yes.
Now that's that's the true experimentation of the hobby. What motivated that? Was it just the urge took you, or was
the urge took me? All the skin tones I've got are either too pink or too white or too.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? And I was going for a very particular Mediterranean look, and it's like we said, we've discussed it. We use that resource that you share. Where's it from?
Oh, the Cool Mini or Not forums ethnic skin tones post. If everybody wants to find it, just search Cool Mini or Not ethnic skin tones. It'll come up. It's like a locked forum post. It's a really great resource.
But I picked certain colours from different areas, didn't pick them all from the Mediterranean one, and was like, yeah, this looks like this will work, and then just fucking dicked around with it for a bit.
Yeah, particularly for people who use Vallejo model colour, because obviously all the paint plans are geared around model colours. But that's it. Okay, so there was an element of you used an internet resource to feed your
but
problem solving.
That's been feeding into me for years. Do you know what I mean? Because you've constantly recommended it.
Yeah.
But I've never gone near it. I mean, again, the Afro-Caribbean skin on my Necromunda was just all me.
Yeah.
Just chocolate brown, Drucci violet wash. Because you were like, oh, don't use that. Use fucking, what was it? Agrax. And I'm like, no, because there'll be no contrast and difference and pop in the shadows. And you absolutely love the skin tone on them.
Yeah, the purple's a good call, to be fair.
Right, I'm waiting for metals to dry now.
What your metallics? So what have you put on?
Fucking massive razor saw at the front.
Okay.
Blackened barrel, and the drill bit. That's blackened barrel. I picked out the drill bit on the miner as blackened barrel and the pickaxe as blackened barrel. Then I'm probably going to do all of the guns as like infinity style. So
okay, so not underplay the metallics and just do dark colours, greys and blacks.
For the weaponry, at least.
Yeah,
for the stuff that's going to be worn and wearing like drill bits, the metallics make more sense.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah, I think it can be something that changes over time as well, though, can't it?
Yeah, definitely.
You want... I mean... I've been more experimental in the past. I guess it's just coming to that realization that I just don't want... I don't want the painting and preparation side of the gaming to be as big a hurdle as it can be. Do you know what I mean?
Right, with this yellowy brown, what kind of green would you go with?
Okay, chat. So have you get a model? I'll put your camera up.
Oh fuck, I've just broken my fucking mount. Bear with me.
Oh my god.
Don't fucking start. There we go.
He's having a night.
Stop being like Thrush. Right, here we go.
Right.
So I'm going to do the trench coat's traditional like brown leather, I think. Because nothing screams Wild West like brown leather fucking trench coats.
Yeah.
But I've got like the trouser tops here to do on a couple of minis. I've got Matey's waistcoat to do. So I was going to pick that colour out because his legs are pretty armoured all the way up. Melody Sanchez has got her fucking skin-tight romper suit on, so we're going to do that kind of colour. And then the shirt and stuff, or the trousers on these miners.
Right.
But I was just thinking what green to go with.
So you've got a yellow. What have you got any other thoughts on other colours?
Not yet. We're making it up as we go along.
We're winging it.
That's not all of my greens by any stretch, but
I don't know what chat thinks. My 2 cents is this. Green and yellow sit very close to each other on the colour wheel. So you've got, as I see it, you've got 2 options.
You've got yellow greens.
You can go with those sort of things which sit quite close to your yellow. And then you want to pick a colour that's on the opposite side of the colour wheel from both to be your third accent colour.
Which is going to be what?
Purple. Or some variation of. And then you'll end up with a split complementary scheme. Red is the suggestion from Limburger. Red would be good. So basically anything from purple, magenta, red, anything in that zone should work. Okay?
Yeah.
The other way you could go is to separate your green and your yellow as much as you visually can to try and create a much more triadic colour scheme. And the way to do that is to go for a green that is almost a blue-green and quite dark. So it's tonally and, what's the word, like intensity, darkness, lightness. It's like it's a darker, so it's
Tone.
contrasting, and its colour is separated as much as possible. So much more, yeah, exactly, Darren, a cool green, you know.
Just having a rummage.
Something like flat green, or even better, green, park green.
Got neither of those.
Do you have deep green?
No.
Okay. To be fair, if all of your
Gunship green, German uniform. Russian uniform's got too much yellow in it. US dark green's got a bit of yellow in it. Luftwaffe cam green's quite dark.
yeah, Luftwaffe cam, that would work. To be
German
fair,
cam dark green.
yeah, German cam extra dark green would be even better. But German cam
What number's
dark
that?
green would work. And in fact, those German cam ones are very bluey. So they would work really well. And they would really separate. Because you see, then you're creating some visual distance between your yellow and your green. You're basically maximising that separation. Then you probably, because you see, that way you've got freedom to probably get away without a third colour. You could build a balanced scheme because you've got a bright colour, a dark colour, and they're as separated as you can get them.
Don't forget there'll be like the brown leathers on the hats, like the Stensons and the trench coats.
Well, I mean, again, go for a reddish brown. You know, pitch towards that red element that Limburger mentioned earlier, and you've got your sort of natural triad, colour triad there.
I'm just looking.
Green, yellow, blue. Yeah, green, yellow, blue's quite an interesting one because they're all on the same side of the colour wheel. Yeah, they're very tightly grouped.
Because again, I've got like dark sea blue, intermediate blues. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean I love dark sea. It's such a good colour. But
a dark sea blue is more blue than green. It would work. Exactly. Again, it creates even more visual separation. I mean, and yellow-blue is a classic combination, isn't it?
What was darker out of intermediate blue and Luftwaffe?
Luftwaffe.
I think we've been down this road before, haven't we?
I think intermediate is, but don't quote me. What number is Luftwaffe?
105.
105.
Because I may have just come up with something here, and it's to use a colour that I've not used before.
That's always interesting.
French Mirage Blue. That really dark blue-grey. Then highlight it up with either some Luftwaffe or intermediate, depending upon how it falls.
Luftwaffe in the bottle looks way darker
than it actually is.
I've got a feeling that we had this when I painted it, and it ended up coming out lighter, didn't it?
Yeah.
But because this is one of the criticisms that we have previously leveled at model colour particularly. They do have a hell of a lot of colour shift when they're dry.
Let's go for it. Let's go French Mirage Blue as a base coat and see where we go from there.
Okay, mate. It's like I keep saying to you.
But it's a colour I've not used before, so let's get it down.
Do you know what? the only problem with experimenting like Darren's saying about experimenting by mixing paints and stuff like that, and it is one of those things, the problem I have with mixing colours is even when I keep a record of what I've done, say I have an accident and need to repaint something or add extra models to an army, even if I've kept quite good records, mixing that exact shade again, that can be a pain in the arse.
Well, again, even if you keep like a per drop count, it's not the same every time, is it? Do you want to come away from my camera, mate?
Yeah, I mean, like you say, if you change batches or have, just change paint pots, it doesn't necessarily mean they're identical. So this is one of the reasons why I've tried to get as extensive a paints collection as possible. Because the other thing is, it removes another step. It's like, I don't need to keep mixing and blending. And again, I'm less and less and less, and I'm a guy who does like 2 or 3 layers of subtle blends where I'm mixing 2 colours together and transitioning one from the other. I'm doing that way less than I ever used to. I just want to get the pot off the shelf, squeeze the colour out, apply it tidily, move on.
See, I do my blends, but I don't mix for that reason, so that if I do fuck a blend up, I can at least go in and repair it.
Yes. Again, which if you're doing
wet blending, it's fucking nightmare.
Yeah, if you want to go back a step and you've been sort of like blending by hand, unless you're very regimented about how you keep your wet palette, you could easily end up like David says. It's like, oh shit, all that level's gone. I've merged it.
Disappeared.
Yeah, as I say. Kudos to those who explore painting for its artistic merit. But as I say, as I get older, it's much more of a means to an end for me, rather than the end in itself. Which doesn't mean that...
Just as well here, while we're on the topic of experimentation.
Yeah.
I'm currently trying a new brush.
Oh, you see, more experimentation. What brush are we trying, sir?
We're trying a Winsor & Newton Cotman series.
Cotman? Okay, not heard of that before.
Size 2 rounds.
Okay.
It's a synthetic sable-like.
Okay.
Nice point. Not too expensive. It was £3 in the range.
Okay.
Just for me to pick them up. Because I'm quite a fan of the synthetics that Winsor & Newton do.
I don't think I've ever had a Winsor & Newton synthetic personally. But how long have you had it?
I've literally just taken the brush tip off it.
Oh, okay. So
I've not got it for can't give honest feedback yet.
We're along for the ride, folks. This is brand new. This is breaking news.
It does feel very sable-like in its snap. Whether it will still feel like that in 4 or 5 weeks' time, we'll find out. But in its snap, it is very sable-like.
And it's a size 2, so it's a good old heft to it.
Without being too thick.
We'll have to see how the point holds up. Because to be fair, with big brushes, that's more important than anything, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
How do they retain the shape?
Yeah, will it still be like this in 2-3 weeks' time?
To be fair, though, for a £3 brush, what would you be happy with? 2 or 3 months?
Yeah, something like that. Well, I'm not being funny. The last experiment I got from Winsor Newton, the size 3
Whoops.
sable that I got, is fucking amazing for the price I paid for it. £4 for a sable, size 3.
And which range was that? Their
Let me get it.
watercolour one.
Winsor Newton Professional Watercolour Sable.
Size 3.
And it's still got a very nice tip after 2-3 months. And I've not even used brush soap on it in that time.
That's a good price for that.
Again, it's like you, though. It's the range again.
The range. And we're hearing it here first, folks. This range is the bloody holy grail.
Again, you use some not actually really fucking cheap brushes, don't you, from Amazon?
Yeah, I do.
And swear by them.
I mean, the thing that it's...
Well, again, look at it this way. I didn't own a sable brush until the beginning of last year.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I think you should always have a nice sable somewhere laying about for doing... Sometimes when you've got like precise detail work to do, you need a good quality brush, and a cheap shitty brush just makes a frustrating hard job even harder. But for everyday use, don't get me wrong, some of these brushes that I pay like £5 for 50 or £10 for 50 in a great big plastic bag from Amazon. Don't get me wrong, some of them literally
the bristles and utterly fucked.
The bristles will literally fall out of the ferrule within a day or two. Like the whole fucking brush head will come out because it's not even properly glued or grounded. But by the same token, 9 out of 10 of them will give me a couple of months' use. So it's like for like 50 fucking pence a brush or whatever it is. And they're perfectly serviceable.
No, we haven't had technical difficulties, unlike your stream, Tim.
Hello, Tim.
Fucking Wanderer returns.
Hello. Right, come on then. Let's hear it, Tim. You've been playing games, we hear. He was wept out in 4 turns. Whoops. Oh, dear. What was it? Star Wars? Legion? Because I think that's what you've been playing the last couple of times. It didn't go well. Bless him. Oh, I am cracking out my brand new Ethonian camo shade.
Fucking hell, you bought some.
Yeah, it was
washes?
Legion. Yes, well, you told me to. I do follow instructions.
Unlike me.
You know, you said you should go and buy Ethonian camo shade. So I went out and I bought Ethonian camo shade.
It is a very good colour. I think you'll like it.
I'll tell you in a minute, because I'm just about to use it. All over this.
It's going for a bath, is it?
Yep. Well, I figured the green scales would look pretty... It's like made for the job, isn't it? On this huge thing.
Depends if you want a more naturalistic or if you want a more fantastical, because Bale Tan Green or whatever it is called now would be better for fantastical scales.
Thing
Whereas
is, this is
more grounded because it's got brown hues in it.
Yeah, and also this Typhon is actually one of like the evil Titans. He's like he's like related to death, and I did read the lore earlier, the sort of Greek myth. I think his father was like the Lord of Death or something.
Yeah.
So, and then his mother is Gaia, the Earth Spirit. So he's like
Fair enough.
this fucked up amalgamation of life and death. So again, perhaps green would have, a more vibrant green would have been better. But do you know what? We've got Ethonian, so let's use it. Let's give it a swizz. Is it Beal Tan? Is that a contrast or is that another one of the shades?
That's another shade, mate. If it's even called Beltan anymore,
Have
I'm
you
not
got
sure.
it?
They're like, yeah, I have.
It's one you've got.
Yeah. But whether they still manufacture it's another matter.
I don't know.
Even you know what GW
they
are
do,
like,
they
love
might.
to
If they,
change
it might have
everything.
changed names.
Name 3 times.
Yeah. But
where did my French Mirage Blue go?
I don't know, mate. Probably in a massive
There it
box that's a mess with loads of other paints. That's just a mess.
They're just scattered all over my bed at the moment.
Fucking hell. What a nightmare. So what have we talked about? We've talked about...
I was suffer from hair loss even with using brush soap. Some with my head, I guess. Like. Nuffle was not favouring Tim's rolls.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing I always used to say to people who used to ask me about sable brushes. Until you can really look after a brush, don't waste your money. But if your brush care is on point, they're a worthwhile investment, I think. I got into them way too early and wrecked the first 2 that I bought before I really learned how to look after them, what not to do with them, etc. And what you say, it's all you'll see loads of useful videos on the internet. Don't do metallics with them, don't do washes with them, don't do contrast with them. I think that's all fair, don't you think, mate?
Definitely.
Because you're just going to shorten the lifespan of them.
Again, if you've got a brush with a nice point and you care about it, don't set it anywhere near your wash pot or a contrast pot.
Metallics can be awkward because sometimes you do want to paint them onto small details. But with washes, why are you using a fucking decent brush anyway? Because you don't. That's the last thing you generally want with a wash. I mean, if you're pin washing, maybe.
Yeah, but go buy a fucking rigger specifically for pin washing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like most of the time when you're washing, you're putting you might as well be using a 2-inch house brush, frankly, to get the job done. Or just
sling it in the pot. Problem solved.
But yeah, we've talked about experimenting with games, hobby tools, hobby techniques, or painting techniques, crafting techniques. I think, is there any other dimensions that we haven't covered? I think we've pretty much got it all. 15 minutes to spare. The topic, can you guys think of anything that we've missed? Yes, sorry, that's very opportune. Basically, Tim, we were talking about the different philosophies of experimenting and trying new things, or playing it safe and sticking to what you know. And David and I were just basically sharing, I guess we were sharing our personal experiences, weren't we, mate?
Or opinions, because again, you're very not anti-experimentation, but there's a time and a place for it, and that time and place for it is not in your repertoire.
Well, if you're talking games, I'm up for experimenting and trying something new. You want to try a new scenario, you want to try a new play mode, you want to try a new game, I'm your man. If you're saying to me, oh, did you see that? I mean, David did it to me earlier. Did you see this video by MS Paints on using oil paints with your acrylics to do blends, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good, thanks. Because I don't know what I'm doing. It'll probably take a load of time. I've got to buy new stuff, and that's not what I want. Thanks very much.
Experimentation with terrain. Actually, this is a good point here. Fucking aquarium plants, the undersung heroes of our hobby.
Yeah, to be fair, that is a good point, because one of the things that people don't do anymore is use or do as much anymore. The thing is, I don't know what you think about this, mate, but I think the problem is we're getting a bit spoiled. There are so many
having stuff pre-finished, pre-done for us,
correct,
and not having to.
Nobody has to improvise anymore because there's so many good wargaming products out there. You don't.
Yeah, you never see a Pringle cans building anymore, do you?
No.
Into a silo or a fuel station.
Yep. Wizard's Tower made out of a Pringles tube. Or like David says, we made some great looking stuff out of bloody absolute cheap shit aquarium plants from eBay, like 10 kilos for £1. Slightly hyperbolic, but you get my point.
Well, hang on. Let me wash my brush, and I will show the people at home how much I have left over after doing a table's worth of terrain. So, boys and girls, we have what? A 10-inch by 6-inch by about 4-inch deep box, absolutely crammed full of the stuff, and I've still fucking got loads to go. It's ridiculous.
Trying to go to your hobby cam because
it's all blurred.
Your background blur is obscuring the box.
Hang on, let me replace my face with Hunt.
Now we just see this is the problem Jerry has. Jerry does this. It's sort of like, I'll hold this miniature up. No, it's just blurred out, Jerry.
Yeah, hang on then. There we go. Yeah, go to desktop cam. I'll try and squeeze it in.
Tim says he sees aquarium plants used all the time. I tell you what, that is something that's really, really great for the OTT project system. You see all sorts of things. I was just about to say toys as well, Darren.
Oh yeah, people using like Tonka fucking cranes for what's it called? Gaslands.
Yeah. I mean, there was Jerry.
What was it doing?
Who is it? Was it? It was you, Jerry, wasn't it, Tim? On one of your shows, picked out a project where some guy was using like some crappy little magnetic toy things that he just clipped together, and they worked as terrain for Dead Zone. I think he was using them for.
I mean, fucking genius though.
But I tell you what, that is a good shout. The OnTableTop project system. There's some really, really out of the box thinking goes on in there. And for those who are new, if you see some dude on YouTube in our chat, he's got a Twitch stream that runs every Tuesday night, and Tim and Jerry go through some of the projects on the OnTableTop platform and cover some of the stuff. So it's a good way to sort of like get an introduction to it. But join and start ploughing through them on. You can find all sorts of great stuff in there.
To be fair, I need to sign up and join the backstages this year.
You see, this is another reason. This is Darren's saying here. Look, basing. He loves experimenting with different types of basing, different materials and looks. And again, I'm terribly conservative. I'm guilty as charged.
The most extravagant you've got is buying some gaming scenic space ready.
Well, not only that, if I buy something and it works and it looks fine, I
You
just
can use
keep
it on fucking
sticking with it.
everything.
I literally do use it on fucking everything. David's right.
Oh, we're playing Necromunda. Quick, we're playing it in a grassy field.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically. Yeah.
It's... You are a creature of habit. I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
magnetic tiles.
You are a creature of habit.
Midwinter Minis did a sponsored video with a toy tractor. Right, I'm going to have to go and look at that. I don't normally look at Midwinter stuff, but that just sounds hysterical.
It does. Now, I just knocked Macy off his base. Fuck it.
What, the model for your behemoth?
No, me. The one I primed pre-stream.
Oh, okay.
Just need to find the... That's not the glue I'm looking for. Where
did
is
you
the glue I'm
settle on
looking
your green? Have you got?
Yeah, it's not green. It's French Mirage Blue.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember you saying now. We're going with the blue-yellow look. Darren.
Don't know what to do with their upper tops yet, but we'll come to that bit in a bit.
You've got bird grit to use for my basing as well as some cork tiles.
No, even when Paul is supplied with cheap knockoff base ready, he doesn't use it.
No, I don't. Because, again, it's like you say, I'm a creature of habit. I'll keep using the product I've got till it's all gone. Then I'll switch to something else.
Yeah.
Until that's all gone. It's sort of like I get this. And again, it's like a production line mentality, I guess, isn't it? I just want to keep...
Well, again, fucking talk about you being stressed recently. When I forced you to paint those iron jaws with the contrast over the top of them. Yeah?
Yeah.
And when you were dicking around with pigments on your... What's it called?
My tank.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, I didn't enjoy either process because, again, it was so far outside of my comfort zone. But that's just me. Right. We need some input here.
Go on then.
I need... So bear in mind we're going to get all of the work done with dry brushing if we can. Let me just see.
I genuinely don't know if I'm going to make painting comp or not, with how much progress I've got done tonight. But it doesn't matter, because this is a project I need to get done anyway, so worst case scenario, I don't end up painting comp this month. What do you do?
Hello? Don't be an arse. Hurrah. Right. So, this is where we're at.
Yeah, I'm listening. And I'm waiting to
see. That's the other thing Darren's saying. Darren's saying he's chopping up plastic and gluing them onto a base as broken paving stones. I'm lazy. It's just like... It's like David said about just putting base ready or grit down and then maybe a tuft or two. Yes, it is very green. We've got green, tan, brown, grey. What I'm thinking is colours for dry brushing. Yes, the model is too big to fit in my light box. So
gloss over that subject matter.
It is very microwavy, but it ping your ping. It's fucking genius. So come on, we've got on the wings intermediate blue. So I'm thinking they want to be dry brushed with quite a light grey.
Sky grey?
Yeah, we could go sky grey, or we could go silver grey.
Silver grey might be a bit white and chalky.
Do we reckon sky grey then?
I think so. I'm just currently attacking a man in a cab, and I'm not enjoying it.
So the green scales are deep green with Ithonian. Now then, what are we going to dry brush them?
Wait, scales?
Green
sky?
Olive green.
Olive
That's
green's too yellow.
Green sky is a bit stark, mate. It's a bit right up there. Bit of a transition.
You like fucking transitions. Just quit
Do you
your
think
jibber
so?
jabber and get your dry brush out.
Okay. Calm down, dear.
No, I won't.
Green and yellow. To be fair, if I hadn't had it completely painted before David's idea, yes, you'd be right. So what about the green ochre, which is the yellow?
Also, that's not fucking yellow.
Well, actually, it's green ochre. I mean, shall we talk about Vallejo's paint naming conventions? How that fucking...
You know, those yellow minis painted in scrofulous brown. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Whatever. So, what do you think? Dark sand?
Iraqi?
Iraqi's got a weird pinky tinge, I always find.
This is what I mean.
We'll put it there. Right. Now the brown that is the sort of furry shoulders, arms and head is currently German cam medium brown. So what do you reckon?
Cork.
Tan earth?
Cork brown.
Cork brown, you say? Okay.
Brain matter beige for everything.
Do you know what? Brain matter beige is a paint I don't own. Isn't that Army Painter? Brain matter beige.
Yes, it is, and it's fucking horrible.
That it's a bit of a meme on Tabletop, you guys. Right, 3 minutes to go. So, I'm quite a bit of the way there. Just time to start cracking on with the dry brushing.
I'm going to get the scrofulous out because apparently I've touched up the end of one of my tips and it's gone black.
Oh dear, you can get antibiotics for that when your tip goes black.
Well, it tends to be in the cold.
Now, if it's the cold, I can't help. So, there we go.
Ooh,
You got any final progress shots, mate?
Yeah, let's go down to the table. Bear with me.
I'm going to need a new wet palette paper.
Let's go. Let's go.
Fact.
I'm ready.
Boom.
I'm ready. Let me move my wet palette and then. Technical difficulties tonight, Tim.
Oh,
I knocked ink over.
Yeah, Tim missed you getting excited. That is white ink, Tim. Don't be shocked. We promise. It's nothing more sinister than white ink. Nudge, nudge. Wink, wink.
Look at that.
You happy with that blue-grey?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I should carry it up onto, like, the padded part of his sleeves.
I would, to give the models more balance. Unless you've got a plan to add another colour.
Well, the minor I was going to do in, like, probably a dirty white cream top.
Okay. So you were going to put some cream on him. To be fair, that could work, is to have your third colour, your accent colour, if you like, unique for every model.
For each one, yeah.
Look at Tim. The internet is for brawn.
And then there we go.
Wow. Metal. Metal!
And then I've just fucking Mirage Blue the entire driver because I can't be asked to get in there and paint it properly.
I was going to say, that looks tricky and fiddly as fuck to get in there, mate.
So we've just applied fucking.
Is he
French
wearing
Mirage.
a boiler suit, like a one-piece suit?
Yeah,
or have you just
he
said,
is wearing
fuck
a
it?
boiler suit,
just...
but his fucking arms are out, and he's also got a fucking. See if I can focus in on that. A bandana, glasses, and face.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to go in and do those details later.
Oh, exhausts before we go. More steel, or put steel on the engines and then paint the exhaust like a bronze colour?
I would do steel, and I would do that scorching effect. Because it's a paint comp. Because I think, haven't you done that before?
Yes, I have done that before.
Well, there you go, you see. You're the man. You should just drag all your techniques out. You should do them steel and do that metal scorching.
But I'm happy with these, and this is an entire Star Scrappers army other than 2 minis.
Like Tim says, blue heat. Well, thank you very much, you guys in the chat, for keeping us company for the last couple of hours. It's been great. We've enjoyed it, and I hope you have too. If you're joining us later on YouTube, thank you very much for your time. If you can only find time to do one thing to interact with us, if you could please press the like button, it helps a lot with YouTube sharing us out and getting impressions. If you've got any comments on the main topic, experimentation, what's your story? Tell us in the comments below. Where do you like to experiment, and where are you a creature of habit? Or are you sort of an extreme and you only do one or the other? Tell us down below.
Ding the dong.
Ding the dong. Yeah, you can do that. If you can do any of the other stuff, it's greatly appreciated. It is probably the hardest thing to do, but obviously we're a small channel and what we do is a very niche thing. If you can think of a person who would enjoy the content, share a link with them and spread the word for us. Because, to be honest, what we're doing is a niche within a niche, and YouTube is never going to make our channel huge. We're relying on you guys to be our advocates and spread the word. But do what you've got time to do. We're not here to nag you. We're just here to share some time with you and have fun.
And have fun on a Thursday evening.
So yeah, that's us done for the evening, and we hope you all have a great week of gaming and hobby.
Tim, sharing's caring.
Yeah. David's oversharing though. If you look at his desk, we'll see you. We'll see you guys next week for some more nonsense.
Keep it.